Welcome to our new podcast, Broker Banter, breaking down barriers to home ownership. We are your hosts. I'm Kim Davis, your real estate guru.
And I'm Patrick Williams, the mortgage guy. We're excited to do this podcast, just kind of help everybody figure out a path towards home ownership. Excited we're old friends and work together, and just kind of excited to get into this.
So this is our first one.
This is our first one.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Yeah.
Did you have a good holiday season?
I did. We had some fun, went on a cruise, just coming back to this wonderful Colorado weather.
It's hard to get back going, though, after the holidays, right?
Yeah, it is. Well, especially when you come back with a cold.
That doesn't help.
Yeah.
You sound great, though.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Not a little stuffy. My voice could change later. How about you? How was the Christmas?
It was good. It was good. Family, friends, fun. Got a little skiing in.
Good.
So it was good. Yeah.
Take down your Christmas lights yet?
We did. We take them down on the 1st. January 1st.
You're not supposed to take down Christmas lights. You're supposed to keep them up for the, what's that thing called?
Stock show.
The stock show, yeah.
Well, I think the rule is the outdoor lights.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Like you can take down the indoor stuff. But you're supposed to leave them up until the end of the stock show for all the ranchers to come into town. Right? And they get to see all the Christmas lights?
On the hope that they'll drive by your house.
Right. I'm at the end of a really long cul-de-sac. Yeah.
So did you leave the outdoor lights on?
No, we took those down.
So you totally went against all Denver, and
I did. Because it all goes up in the top of the garage, right? And so I don't have to get up there twice. Oh. So you take it all down, get the bins up, and be done, and start the new year fresh. We literally New Year's Day, before I could even sit down and watch football.
Bah humbug.
I know my wife.
She's very festive.
She cracks the whip.
To watch football?
No, to get all the crap down.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
But then you said, so then you can go and watch football.
Well, I did get to watch some football.
Oh.
But
so not very many lights.
Is your tree down? Is it still up?
Tree's still up. Everything's still up.
Do you cut your own Christmas tree down? What do you do?
Yeah, usually with your family.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember now. Did you get a good one this year?
Let's not talk. Our Christmas tree is really sad, and so he's making fun of our Christmas tree.
It was. They usually get the best one. They've got really high ceilings. They usually get like a 25-foot tree, and this year they got a 25-foot tree. But it was Charlie Brownish.
Very skinny.
Yeah, it wasn't a great one.
So, all right, maybe we should talk about some real estate and mortgage stuff.
Yeah.
Or at least why we decided to do the podcast and what makes us qualified to even talk about this stuff.
That's probably a good idea. Huh. Okay. Well, why are we doing this podcast, Kim?
Well, we're hoping to educate, people about what you need to do to buy a house and,
break down barriers.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Breaking down barriers to home ownership. Very smart.
Yeah.
Way to throw that in.
Work that right in there. Yeah. Well, so we're I think, a lot of people, there's a lot of misinformation out there. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a lot of people, especially the younger millennial generation, that think that homeownership is not within their reach, right? That they can't, that's not something that they'll be able to obtain. And I think there's a lot of creative ways to get into the market. And I hope we can help people figure that out.
Well, how are you qualified to tell people how to?
That's a great question, Kim. I'm glad you asked. I'm a mortgage banker. I work for a small local lender here in the Denver area. We've been in business since '96, and I myself have been in the mortgage industry 20 years. This year will be my 20th year in the mortgage industry.
Congratulations!
Thank you. It's been a crazy ride.
Who's this? What's the company that you work for?
The mortgage company.
The mortgage.
Yeah, like Ohio State University. Exactly. We are the mortgage company.
But we are not the Broker Banter.
No. Just Broker Banter.
Just Broker Banter.
That's right. So I've been in the mortgage industry for a long time. I've underwritten for a long time. I've worked for some major banks. Worked for some large home builders. But it was
Wells Fargo.
Wells Fargo for a long time. Bank of America for a long time. I was with Bank of America through the meltdown back in 2008. Oh. You remember those days?
I do remember those days.
Yeah. Was this the last 2023 worse than those years or better? What do you think? We've been talking about that.
Well, I didn't think 2023 was that bad for me. So, but no, I remember I started, if we want to
Kim,
segue
when did you start in real estate?
if we want to segue to me, I got my license in 2002.
Okay.
So right after 9/11, I was graduating college. I was on the 7-year broker, to get not broker, 7-year
College plan?
college bachelor's degree.
Oh.
Yes, I could have been a doctor.
Yeah, usually if you go to college for 7 years, aren't you a doctor?
Close 8. I wasn't. I was just trying to work my way through. So 9/11 happened and I couldn't get a job. So my father-in-law was a real estate broker. And he said, why don't you get your real estate license? So I got it in 2002. And then I've been a full-time realtor ever since. But I joined RE/MAX. I'm currently working for RE/MAX Professionals in the Denver metro area. And I've been with them since 2005, January of 2005. So I just celebrated, what?
19?
Is that 18?
It was 2024.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 19 years.
Yeah.
Just this week, I guess. Yeah.
Congratulations.
So, thanks.
19.
But in the business, was that 22 years.
Yeah.
We really should work on my math. I know I'm Asian, but.
Well, I'll leave. You can leave the math to me, since I'm the finance guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So for me, I mean, I've done pretty much everything in the business. I underwrote for a long time and processed, did it all. So I really know the process from start to end, and I can really take a look at people's situation and find solutions because I have that underwriting background. Yeah, and that's for those of you maybe who don't know what an underwriter is. That's the person who's going to look at all of your documentation and decide if you qualify for the loan or not. And so, thankfully, with that background, I can do that up front and find a solution.
In full disclosure, I used to call Patrick all the time and be like, "Hey, I need to ask you some questions about my people and
and it was free
how
of
can
charge.
we get them qualified?" And
it was free of charge at that time. Yeah.
Oh.
But then I decided. I mean, she keeps calling me and asking me all these questions. I should try to make some money. Yeah.
Well. But you still give me free advice.
I do. That's true. No, I really believe in educating people and and offering whatever kind of value or insight that I can in order to help people out. Right. I think I find a lot of value is not the right word. Maybe fulfillment in helping people out.
In teaching.
Yeah. I really enjoy that. It's good. We do some first-time homebuyer classes and some CE credits for realtors to help them as well. So it's a good part of what I get to do.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
So you had brought up 2008.
Yeah.
That was the low time for that. Well, see, from what I remember, I started in 2002.
Yeah.
I remember 2008 being the top, and the bottom in the Denver metro market was 2010. Because I remember I made $10,000 that year.
I think you were probably doing pretty good for those years. Those were rough years.
It was like one or two. It was the foreclosure. It was
right.
And from what I recall in the mortgage business, we were number 1 or number 2 fraud state in the nation.
There was a lot of fraud going on in Denver. I also at that time I worked in the Phoenix area, Las Vegas. Okay. So there was a lot more going on. Vegas was rough. That was a market that was hit really, really hard. I think there was a lot of fraud going on in that market. A lot of people who probably were buying that shouldn't.
But people shouldn't have to worry about that anymore because you're now regulated.
We were regulated back then, but not to the same level.
Right?
No, you didn't even have to have a license to be a mortgage broker or banker at that time.
But you do now.
Yes. Yeah. You're required to take a test and 22 hours of education and all of that. Yeah.
But But we're no longer a big fraud state.
No, and I think a lot of what came out of that time was, oversight and maybe you don't see any like stated income loans, stated asset loans, 100% financing. Yeah, the Wolf of Wall Street. Or what was the big the Big Short.
Oh, The Big Short. You're right. Yes. Not the Wolf of Wall Street. The Big Short.
Wolf of Wall Street was good though.
Yeah. That was Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, and I think some of the mortgage guys back then probably were similar to
Matthew McConaughey, Big Short, right? Yeah.
No, Matthew McConaughey was in Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, which is the one about foreclosures, short sales?
The Big Short. That was Christian Bale.
Oh yes, you're right.
Yes. The guy from The Office, what's his name?
Oh, Steve Carell.
Steve Carell, we got it.
Steve Carell.
We got
Thanks,
it.
Jesse.
Yes. Yeah. So no, I mean it was a tough time. A lot of the people that I worked with during that time, I actually got my start at Countrywide. I know it's like kind of a bad word, but I actually stayed on at Countrywide through the merger with Bank of America, and then at the end of my time there, we were actually helping people stay in their homes. So
okay.
we
Countrywide, of course, went under, but did they get bought out by Bank of America?
Yeah, I think the government kind of told Bank of America, "Hey, you have to buy Countrywide because we can't afford them to go under."
Okay, and then
because I don't think it was a good financial move for them.
And then you went to Bank of America, and then you stayed.
Yeah, so that was one job, right? Like I stayed with Countrywide, and then it turned into Bank of America.
Okay.
And then I was with them, moved into some management positions there, and helped people stay in their homes. So
you would think I would know this stuff about you, being that I've known you for about 10, 15 years.
15, yeah, easy. Yeah, it's been we've known
Should
each
really
other
get
for
to
a
know
long
you.
time. Well, maybe we can do that through this podcast, Kim.
Okay.
Tell me about how those years were for you back then. I mean, coming out of you said 10, you thought was the worst time for the Denver market.
Yeah, so I started, like I said, working with Remax in 2005, and
those are good years back then. Like 2005 to 2008, 2009, those were. I mean, it was good.
I was starting out in real estate, so it was a little bit slower,
Sure.
for me.
Yeah.
Being a newbie, kind of. But I guess by then I was 5 years, and I had young kids. My kids are older now, but I was in real estate, trying to raise kids, and those were good years. 2011 was definitely a turning point for me. I know a lot of people were still really slow, I think, in the real estate industry but 2011 on, it's been great.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know the market has slowed down.
It has.
This past year. It's 22, 23. I mean, numbers are down. Denver Post just came out with an article this morning saying that 18% less transactions than last year, than 2022.
And that's not surprising, is it?
Yeah, no.
Why are we seeing so many less transactions? I have my theories.
I think it's probably because interest rates are so high, and we have a lot of buyers, I feel, that are waiting to jump back into this market. They're just, interest rates with that being higher, payments are higher. I mean, when I bought my first house, at 25, we bought a 1,800 square foot house for $248,000 in 2002.
Yeah, so affordability, right?
Affordability is definitely an issue.
Yeah, and interest rate combines with that affordability, right? Like that's a part of it. So we have really high values here in Denver now. We're one of the top 10 markets, I think, for home values. Yeah. And then you get interest rates that come close to 8%. And then it gets really hard to get into the market. And
payments are crazy, which I feel sorry for, younger people trying to buy houses in the Denver metro area. Our children, your children, my children are probably going to need some help from parents, from us, from, or get really, really great jobs right out of high school.
Well, you know what though? I do think, how old were you when you bought your first home?
I was 25.
That's pretty young.
Yeah.
I don't think that's average. How much?
I don't know what the average age is.
I think it's
now
later.
it's later. I think now it's later 30s, I believe.
Yeah, if it's not late 20s, it's.
We should look up some statistics, Patrick.
That's a good idea. Maybe we can talk about that on our next episode. But affordability, right? That's the main issue. Thankfully, it's getting better. Interest rates have come down since the highs that we saw in October. We were right at about 8%.
8%. Whew.
You know what though? Okay, so what's
when I bought in 2002, it was 8%.
Yeah, and when I bought in 2009, I got an interest rates in the 5s, and I was like, I would never have to refinance this ever. 5%.
As they drop into 2.9.
We're not going to talk about those. So 8% was rough, right? Especially with the elevated home values. But thankfully, we are back down. We're coming back down. We're about 6.5. Now, interest rates they're a little tricky. They change almost on a daily basis. I actually had 2 price changes this morning before we came in to record this. So the jobs report came out, and it was much better than anticipated. Many more jobs were added than what people expected. And so with that news, that actually had a negative effect on the bond market, and interest rates went up. So sometimes good news for the economy is bad news for interest rates, but there are a lot of factors that go into that.
Is the prediction that, the first or second quarter of this year, we're going to see a drop in interest rates? Is that what they're still thinking is going to happen?
Yeah. So we've peaked. Everybody's pretty much at the consensus that we have peaked for interest rates. Everybody is anticipating the Fed to do multiple cuts this year. So that's good news for home buyers.
Well, you know what they're saying, if that's true, because we've been hearing that here, RE/MAX professionals, they like to give us a lot of, information, and we're very lucky. RE/MAX, the main RE/MAX LLC is based here in Denver, so I feel we get a lot of great information.
Absolutely.
But they're predicting that the second quarter of this year, that, it'll be like it was back if you bought before the pandemic, and then housing prices skyrocketed.
Yeah.
That's what they predict is going to happen. That all these buyers who've been waiting for interest rates are going to jump back into this market, and prices are going to go up in the Denver metro area. So if you've been waiting, don't wait for interest rates to come down. You should buy now before these prices get even higher, and you can catch some of that equity on the...
Absolutely. I would agree. I've been telling a lot of people that I've been working with who are pre-qualified that to not wait for the interest rates to come down.
Now, refinance, absolutely,
well, we can,
right?
Right, so that's So what I like to say is that you can marry the house, but date the rate. Right?
Yeah.
So get into that house now. Maybe interest rates are still a little higher than what you would like, but we can always refinance that. And at the mortgage company,
date the rate.
Marry the house, date the rate. But at the mortgage company, if you close your purchase with us, we'll waive our lender fees to get your rate back down, and we can refinance you. It's not for free. There's always fees that are associated with the refinance, but we'll waive our fees.
Well, but the difference of paying $1,000, $2,000 to refi versus losing $10,000 in equity.
It's a no-brainer.
No-brainer. Right.
Yeah, and I've heard the same thing too. I've heard the first quarter of this year, people who bought through March here are going to be considered those same people that bought early in the pandemic.
Yeah.
They're going to be really smart. We're able to get in early, not have to deal with multiple offers or waiving contingencies and all the craziness that we saw during the pandemic. We may see some of that.
$50,000 over asking price, $100,000 over asking price. Let's hope that, I don't know how much higher Denver prices can go, but I mean, obviously up, because Denver still is a hot market. People still want to live here. We try to tell people that, from out of state, that the sun really doesn't shine that much here.
Well, maybe we should keep this podcast just in Colorado, so we don't let the cat out of the bag that it is such a wonderful place to live. I think it's already out. I think everybody knows.
Out.
Yeah.
Well, we might as well welcome everybody.
Okay, everybody, please. But no, Denver is really a popular place to live.
Yeah.
We've got 300 days of sunshine a year. We've got all the recreational amenities, and now Denver has become really a cultural mecca with museums and symphonies and all those, if you're into that as well.
That's a big word for Patrick, mecca.
Mecca.
It's a cultural mecca.
Yeah, come on. You like that?
I do.
Yeah.
Please.
So, no, there is a lot to do here, right? I mean, if you like going to shows, lots of bands come through Red Rocks. We've got all 4 major sports teams.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the place to be.
Nuts,
I am a little biased. I'm a native. So I was born here in Colorado.
Like
there's not many of us.
Real native?
That's right.
Real native.
Okay. Born here in the state of Colorado.
Okay, well.
I think there's 12 of us left.
Probably.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I've been here since 1990, which, I was 15.
I think we'll...
So in case anyone's doing the math.
I don't know if you would have... That wasn't smart. I think if you were here in 1990, we'll grandfather you in.
Oh, no.
No?
See, a true, real native
nice.
Colorado
Nice folks.
is not going to
we're
say
nice.
that. No.
Unless because you're not from California, Texas.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
No, let's not.
You might need to edit that out.
No, we like people from Texas.
Of course we do. Of course we do.
Our friends, the Collies, are from Cali.
They are.
Yeah.
That's true. I like them all right.
Yeah.
They're pretty good people.
They're going to be excited that we mentioned them.
Yeah, we could talk more about them. They probably like that. No, I mean it is a very popular place to be.
Right.
It's hard to beat.
Right. Well, and I haven't looked recently, but we used to be, and I'm sure the statistic is still true. We are the highest city that is not on a coast as far as like housing is concerned. And
Yeah.
so I think Austin might be creeping up there, but we used to be anyway.
Yeah.
So I mean, like Chicago is considered a coast. It has Lake
Because
Michigan.
of the Michigan, yeah.
And then
But I did see the correction in Austin has been pretty severe.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So, I mean, it ramped up really high through COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I think the lack of state taxes in Texas also helps that people want to move down there. But I did see the price correction has come pretty far down. They've lost quite a bit of value down there. And I don't think we've seen that. What are the values done here in the Denver?
Well, so it's great question.
Thank you, Kim.
It's gone. It plateaued a little bit, and I would say even gone down about 8% is what they were saying. Now, I think we're going to see, of course, we're going through the holidays, we're going through the coldest month. We used to, for a long time in the Denver metro area, have where real estate would be really the spring, summer market here, and then come winter, it would kind of plateau off, drop a little bit. I would tell you that is kind of coming back into play, but we'll see. They're expecting, like I said, an 8 to 10% drop is kind of what we've seen this last since summer. It kind of hit early,
Sure.
because of interest
rates.
And interest rates really
Killed the whole market. Thank you, Federal Reserve.
Dropped some housing prices, which some buyers are probably very excited about.
Yeah. Well, those cash buyers were really excited about it.
Very excited.
Yeah.
So, but we are thinking that in the second quarter, like we said, that those prices are going to go past that 8 to 10% and go up higher.
Continue to go
up. So don't wait. It's. I mean, I think you're right. You say peak, but we've hit our bottom, I think, as far as pricing in this next near
Correct.
future.
When I say peak, I'm speaking of interest
I know.
rates because that's where I deal in, right? And you're speaking of bottom as far as values. So it's the culmination of those two together that I think are going to create the market that we'll see here in 2024.
Right. So don't wait
That's the message, I
is
think.
the message,
Yeah,
right?
get into the market now. The longer you wait, I think the more competitive it's going to be. And there are a lot of people who are just been kind of hanging out. Like, you know what, I'm not doing anything while I see these 7% interest
And
rates.
hey, I have buyers since the beginning of the year. My phone has been starting to ring again a lot more than, it has.
Yeah. No, even just yesterday, I had multiple people say, hey, where are rates at? Like, you can tell.
You can feel it. You're starting to feel
it's a little bit under the
buzzing.
surface. Yeah, but there's a buzz. And I think the market's going to be strong this year.
So I guess I would tell buyers, don't wait. And I tell sellers that, hey, if you're, thinking about selling, you definitely want to sell, put your house on the market as these interest rates start to come down, put the house on the market and, try to get in before that summer market. Everyone wants to put their house in the summer. And then what happens in the summer here? It starts to plateau again because now you have multiple homes on the market that you compete with. And it's always nice to be the only house in the neighborhood for sale.
Well, and inventory is still pretty tight.
Inventory is still low.
Yeah.
So, it's really never a bad time to list. Well, except for around Christmas.
Well, nobody wants to buy a house during the Christmas season. It's busy enough already.
I mean, what a great Christmas present, though.
That is. Yeah, when I was with the home builders, there were a lot of people who would close in December, and I always just thought it was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's because you have kids and have to buy them presents.
That's true. Yeah, and I don't want to have to move again.
So what about for you? So to maybe wrap up this first
podcast,
any mortgage advice there for the people watching?
Yeah,
or listening,
or watching.
Or watching.
Yeah. Hello. I think if you are starting to consider to get into the market in 2024 is let's take a look at things early, because if there's some things to work on in your credit or, your assets that we need to start looking at that right away. Because time can be your enemy, but time can be your friend, right? Like if you do have maybe some challenges that we need to work through, the sooner we get started on those, the sooner we can get them resolved. So, I would say if you are considering not to hesitate. Like let's get
Because
a move
usually
on.
once you pre-qualify someone and you run their credit, you can usually hold on to that file for how many days?
Credit's just good for 120 days, so 4 months.
4 months.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So if you're thinking about buying even this summer, I mean,
Yeah.
April, but
Well, and
still you can.
Yeah, and I have the ability to do what's called a soft pull. And so it's really just kind of a small credit check that it doesn't count as a credit inquiry. We can take a look at things and not do an official inquiry and just kind of see where you're at.
Right, so
Yeah.
they can get them prepared and ready.
Yeah,
So if it's even a thought that you're going to buy, of course, one of the first steps to do when you're looking to buy a house is call a mortgage broker.
Yeah.
And the mortgage broker will say, hey, this is what you need to do, or this is what you're qualified for. And then that's when I jump in, right? Or the realtor jumps in and says, okay, well, let's take that and let's go look at houses.
Yeah.
Let's go do the fun. The fun is with me. I'm
She,
the fun.
I unfortunately, I'm not as fun as Kim. I mean, who could be as fun as you?
It's true.
But
Just-
you got to go through me if you want to have the fun,
That's true.
and I can be fun too. It's really fun when you get the loan all
Well, it's
finished and you
fun
get
to help people.
get the keys, right? Yeah,
Fun to
yeah.
help people.
So don't delay in that. Let's take a look at things and see where you're at, and then you know what you qualify for too, right? Like there's nothing worse than to go look at some stuff and then find out maybe that's a little bit out of
Right.
your price range.
So if they were wanting to get a hold of you, how did he do that?
Yeah, I mean, you can go to my website, which is themortgageco.com, or you can email me at pwilliams@themortgageco.com, or give me a call, 720-988-7664.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then of course, if
How do they
need
get a hold of you, Kim?
real estate help. Oh, how nice of you
Yeah,
to ask,
yeah.
Patrick. Do you think he was a little delayed there?
Sorry.
Jeez.
I try.
You can, I actually have a team, and we're the Dynamic Home team, and so our website is dhtdenver.com, so Dynamic Home Team Denver, but dhtdenver.com, or you can, of course, call me, 303-882-0888, or, look me up on Remax Professionals, but Kim Davis, I think I'm the only Kim Davis at this company.
Yeah. I think we're easy to find. We ain't
Yeah.
hard to find.
No,
No.
not hard at all.
Yeah. Well, this was fun.
Yeah, it was. I'm excited to do this for the next few weeks, every week.
Yeah, so, I mean, what are we going to do here? We're going to put one of these out every week.
Yes, every week. Hopefully every Wednesday is our plan to have a new podcast once a week every Wednesday.
So
we hope you guys tune in.
Yeah, we're here just our hope is that we can help break through that barrier of homeownership and just find solutions for those out there who are ready to get into the market.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, it's been fun talking to you.
It's been fun. It's been real.
All right. Until
Thanks,
next
guys.
week.